Okay, something Jamie just asked me, and I said, well, let's come and video record this, is for her what's really important is learning how to prevent injuries or how to work with injuries. So we're just talking about the iliopsoas. So when someone comes up and says, I have a pulled groin muscle or a pulled hip, you could just basically ask, well, how and when does it hurt? So the first thing you could do is ask, like we did earlier, how's it feel when you start to lift your heel off the floor? Is that where it's tender? And you can see that that is the contraction of the psoas, whereas the extension of the psoas, the lengthening of it, is when the leg comes back. So, and it just depends on the person, whether it is more the stretch that is a challenge for them or the contraction is a challenge for them. So when someone comes up to you and says, you know, I have a pulled hip muscle, come back to the true form of Hatha yoga, the sun, moon, trying to find balance. So if one, go ahead. What's that?
Like, let's say I've been through a class like Maureen. I'm really sore in here.
Okay.
My hip just feels like it's sore. What do I do?
Okay. Well, like I just said, does it hurt when you lift the heel and bend the knee up? Or is it more sensitive when you extend the leg behind you?
When I bend it up.
When you bend it up. So it probably means that it's just pulled, or not pulled, but it's just a tight muscle and it may have kind of knotted up. So some things that you can do is,
like, let's say that's happening.
Okay, perfect. So just turn and I'll have you bring your hands to the wall and let weight shift into your left leg. Engage your right gluteus maximus muscle and just slide your straight right leg back so the toes touch the floor. Nope, nope, nope. Weight into the left foot. Bring both feet forward, Tadasana.
Okay.
Shift the weight to your left.
Okay.
And then just slide the right leg back. Just toes up, both legs straight. So it's more like something like this.
Oh, okay.
So kind of like a balance. And then you can work on very slowly starting to lift the right leg up, but don't go further than that. So that's one way of just kind of gauging how that works. So go ahead, come back to Tadasana and lower the arms down. Another way is stepping back into triangle.
Which direction?
Let's say, just face the camera.
Okay.
And step your feet wide. Okay, so left foot towards that direction, arms out, tipping over your left leg. So she's going to contract her left psoas. Go ahead and come down into a triangle and just bring the right hand to the hip. You could even use a chair. How's that feel?
Wonderful.
So that is a nice way to stretch out the psoas there. And big toes down, outsides of the feet down, that lifts the arches of the feet. Both legs straight as best you can. Beautiful, that's it. And when you're dealing with things that are tight or overly stretched, you do not want yourself or your student to go deeper into the poses. Slow and steady, that's the way to go. And the last one is, and I'll demonstrate this one, so I'll just ask you to come off. And I mentioned this earlier. So you could get them to come down. Can I have a pillow, please? Thank you. You could have them come into the table first and come into a low lunge. And without going any deeper, you could have them stay here, tuck the tailbone, and I already feel a deep stretch right in here. So they could stay with their breath here, more of like a yin-based type of class. And eventually, maybe they start to deepen the pose. Eventually the left knee coming more forward. So go ahead, relax the shoulders when you come into this low crescent pose. And then you're going to feel it here. But I would definitely say keep it supported. Don't allow them to lift their arms up. And you could always use blocks so they could stay low and come into it this way as well. This is more of a mild stretch for that right psoas, if that's the one that is tight. And they could just be with that. Or even left hand on the left knee. So any variation that would make sense. So I hope that helps. Remembering the true meaning of hatha, the balance, the sun, the moon will help you work with injuries. So.